Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the very first video devlog for Moons in Crystal. Now, while the project is long-standing, I imagine, and hope, that some of you watching this are new to Moons in Crystal. To that end, let me then start by introducing the game. The actual devlog portion will begin thereafter. In short, Moons in Crystal is an isometric fantasy space metroidvania. In slightly longer terms, across Magitech solar systems, the player takes on the role of a spirit in a brass and crystal vessel, there to explore fantastical and sometimes strange moons, facing the dangers and discovering the secrets of those places. They'll find artifacts that grant spells for combat. They'll oppose manifold enemies as well as 14 fantastical bosses. They'll encounter characters with whom they might learn or otherwise gain. And, in true Metroidvania fashion, they'll gain powers, upgrades to their vessel that will open up new regions to explore. All of this is to the end of averting a terrible calamity, an approaching, devouring presence that, if not stopped, will consume the local systems. So, with that introduction made, let me move on to the devlog portion of this video. And it's been quite a while since my last text devlog. It's taken me rather longer than I expected to get to this video devlog. There are a few reasons for this, as I recall. For one, intending the introduction preceding, I'd wanted to update the main game to work with the various changes in the game's presentation, primarily lighting and line of sight. For another, some personal matters slowed development. And, well, I likely became a bit distracted by other aspects of the project. And maybe I will admit, I found a video such as this to be a little bit intimidating. So, what has been done since the last text devlog? Quite a lot, I dare say. To start with, and as I mentioned above, the main game has been retrofitted to work with the recent changes in lighting and line of sight. Some of this went fairly easily, if tediously. In particular, adjustments to walls for the new lighting and conversion of edging geometry for use as line-of-sight geometry was aided by the creation of some Blender scripts. Other aspects were trickier. Under line of sight, anything not blocked from view can now naturally be seen. This means that long, unobstructed regions may open to view more rooms than intended, including rooms that should be inactive. To deal with this, I've made some fairly minor changes in level layout, as well as combined certain rooms together. And while I was at it, I added a bit more decor, in particular to the Ossuary Moon's Bone Galleries level. It now looks a bit more like an actual Magitech art gallery, I feel. On a minor UI note, landing sites now have labels to indicate to where they lead. Previously this was achieved via a pop-up message, but this proved to have a serious bug, and further was, I think, not satisfying UI. The new labels work far better, both in functionality and as UI elements, I feel. On the technical side, a variety of performance improvements have been made, most especially for cases in which multiple enemies are on screen at once. For example, projectiles now only copy their individual special effects when those effects are called for, such as on impact, and only those that they're actually about to use. And on the art side, various tweaks and changes have been made to the appearance of the game, including the removal of outlines. Now, with all of the various changes made to the game over time, the old trailer no longer represented Moons in Crystal all that accurately, I fear. So, I reworked it, and not only in replacing the in-game footage. While I was at it, I redid the music, tweaked the lettering, and changed the outro visuals. In fact, you should see the new outro visuals, or a slightly tweaked version thereof, at the end of this video. And, well, I'm rather happier with the new version of the trailer. And you should find the updated trailer on this same channel, and it should be linked in the description below. And the new demo hasn't been forgotten. Indeed, I think that I'm close to having it ready to release. And finally, there were likely a number of things done that don't seem worth detailing here. Myriad bug fixes and minor changes and such like. Not to mention that I may well have forgotten some things, given how long it's been since the last devlog. That then is all for this devlog. Stay well, and thank you for watching. P.S. If you have any thoughts or feedback, whether on the game or this devlog itself, please feel free to put it in the comments.